inkproducts.com has now released a new CIS auto refill system for Canon's new Pixma T6320 and a lot of their TS models. When you get it, it's going to have everything you need to install it. The only thing you have to supply, if you don't want to get ink on your fingers, a pair of latex gloves and a little large paper clip like this. I'll show you what that's for when you're on the install. Now you get all the parts and pieces. You're going to get everything you need in there. It's all primed. I've installed the Canon cartridges, run some test prints. Now we're going to put in our auto refill system. I'm going to open it up because you're going to have to take the Canon cartridges out and replace the Canon gaskets. You're going to get the gaskets in the kit, and we're going to show you right here in the video how to do it. You don't have to take anything out, but you will have to take the cartridges out, the Canon cartridges. And you want to save them. You don't want to use them a lot. Just want to use them for testing. This way, should you ever have a problem, you want to do some troubleshooting, you can put them back in and do some troubleshooting. Okay, now down in there is the print head. They're going around the micro screens right there in the print head. With a pair of needle nose, we're going to pick them out and we're going to replace it with the gaskets that we supplied. It just makes a tighter fit when you install the CIS cartridges. Now you can see I just pull it out. Now there's two ways. There's a big large area at the top here, and then you have the hole for the micro screen, and then a short one at the bottom. So when they go in, they go with the short side facing you and the long side facing the back of the printer. And then the gaskets we supply are the same. The large part goes to the back and the smaller part goes towards facing you. And you know, can't put them in upside down because it wouldn't work. Now these extra plugs here, because on all of our cartridges we have priming ports. Should you run the bottles empty, you need to prime them up, and you drop one of these or lose it that's on the cartridge. I'll show you that in a minute. There they are. You have to have something to plug that hole back up, so we give you extra ones, so don't throw them away. So now we're going to go put that gasket in, and we'll do all of them exactly the same way. On the black one is a little different. It's a little broader, and goes in the same way with this part extending up. That goes towards the back, short to the bottom. Now you want to save those Canon gaskets. Now you can see I just placed it down in there, just the same way that the Canon gasket was. So go over here, get a little close up here. Now here's where you can get some ink on your fingers. So if you want to wear those latex gloves. Now, like I said, this has 5 cartridges. Some of the TS series and other series, they have 6. The only difference is you have one more cartridge. Now you can see I've got all the gaskets in. Now I'm going to reach behind the printer and I'm going to unplug the printer. Do not turn it off, just unplug it. Because I want to be able to move that print head back and forth without damaging the printer. And it can't be under power for that. Now there again, save the Canon gaskets should you ever need them in the future. Okay, now I folded the hose. All the plugs are still in the bottles. I stood them up. Not going to take any of those, open any of those yet. Okay, now I'll remove the rubber band and I'll remove the tape. And then from the front here, I'm going to unsnap and take the orange clip right off. And you got to pass it through the tab here. Okay, now I took the tape and the rubber band off, and I unsnapped the front. Have a paper towel handy, because sometimes near the exit port it'll dribble some ink. You just can blot it up. But now it's got to come off towards the end, like slide off like that. See? Slid right off through that. And there's not too much ink there. If you notice, I have the cartridges slightly higher than the ink tank. That's because, and then by folding the hose, ink can't flow out either way. So that's the way you do it. That's the way you're going to take them all off. Grab the front, unsnap it, and then you're going to feed it through the cutout in the back, like that. And by the way, these are the chips, unlimited chips. You can print forever with these chips. You don't have to reset them. Because we're going to show you how to turn off that ink monitor, and then you'll be able to print indefinite. Now, if you ever put a Canon cartridge in there, that ink monitor will come back on. So you're not, damaging anything on the printer. Then I'm gonna grab them and I'm gonna flip them over and put them right in. You'll see. There I got them. I got the clips all off. Now, if you forget to put that paper clip on, you're gonna have ink dripping all out of there. So don't forget that. Now, I have the Canon cartridge, so I want to save them. So you see, I put them in the little clip. I put the tab in the slot first, then I can click it down like that. So you can save them with the orange clip. Don't throw those orange clips away, because if you ever had to take the system back out for whatever reason, you need to put them back on. And when I'm all done, I'll remove that paper clip after I get the cartridges installed. You'll wait till after you have them installed. Okay, now I've got them here. I put them in my left hand. Now I'm going to turn them over in a whole set and go in, just like that. And then take your time lining it up. Get the front in first. That's very important, because you put the back in first. Snap it in before it's in all the way. It's a headache getting it back out again. So don't do that. Wait till you have it in there. You can hear it click. There. Now I'm going to push it all the way over to the right, like that. That's it. You've installed them. Now you can remove the paper clip. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to open up the air plugs, the top of the cartridge. I'm sorry, the top of the tank. This is the fill plug, so to fill them, you lay it down. Both plugs are in. Remove the large plug, fill it up. You can see it. It's very easy. This bottle it's UV protected, protects the ink from light. So then you have to open up the air plugs, because you need air to go in for the system to work. Otherwise, you'll starve the printhead. So as long as you have it in the printer, the little plugs are open. When you're going to fill it, put the little plugs in, fold it, put it over, open up the big plug. Now you're going to get a bracket. It's going to have some Velcro on it like this. You're going to peel that off. There's two pieces there, the bottom and the top. And it's going to go in like that. Now it's going to go in about 2.5 to 3 inches from the side here. You're going to put your first piece of Velcro right here, flush it here. It can extend over there, and then you'll be able to stick that right down. And that'll be right where it needs to be for the hose travel. Now there you go. I got a flush here. A little bit hanging over here. Don't worry about that. Now I made this about, well, like I said, 2.5 to 2 1/4. I just made a little mark here at 2 1/4 because it's Velcro, so I can adjust the main bracket a little bit either way. So it's not that exact. And now it's going to go on top of the Velcro just like that. So if you ever have to get that out of your way, it's a lot easier to take this off than to rip tape off and then you got to retape it. So I like using the Velcro. Okay, now I got the bracket in. Now I'm going to feed the hose right through the little slit at the end here. So you can feed the hose through. That's called the main hose bracket. and then it's going to come along and it's going to come right out here. So I'm going to put a little hose clip here, and I'll put one on the side of the printer. Then we'll do hose travel. Okay, now you can see I just have it coming off a small, not a lot of slack, not hardly any at all. Comes right on through. There's the hose bracket, a hose clip, and then I put the other one on the outside. So now we're going to do hose travel. So I'll grab it and I'll pull it all the way over to the left as far as I can go. There. Didn't hit anything, everything looks good. It's got a little bit of a slack that way. You go back, and that's it. Now what we're going to do is we give you some lid stops. So they're going to be put right on the side here, so you can't close the lid all the way. The lid cannot go down all the way. There's just not enough space between this, the cartridges, and the... Now we've got the lid stops in on each side. Now we give you this called a lid jumper. See, it's got to go in that little hole right here, because when the lid is down all the way, there's a arm that goes in there and tells it the lid is down. So we cheat it by putting this little jumper in like that. And you just got to get it in far enough so it registers that the top is down. You don't have to push it. You don't have to push it right on down. You just got to get it down in like that. And then you can close this. Now, even though it's open about a ½ inch, you can still scan and print and copy. Won't hurt anything. Okay, now we can plug it back in, but before we do that, this is very important, we open up the little plugs. Because if you don't open these up, it'll starve the printhead of ink. And then you got to go in and prime everything up. There, now we can plug it in. Okay, now I've got my first test sheet comes out. Now, we're American made ink, Ultra Pro True Color ink. It's equal to the manufacturer's ink. Does not clog a printhead, guaranteed. Looks pretty good. That's how easy it was to set up the Canon TS6320, 6120, 6220, they're all the same. Same simple instructions. So go to inkproducts.com for the latest in CIS auto refill systems.